So, Karl, what's your favourite Toto song?
Don't you even fucking dare, mate. You know what song it is. You know the story. Music, as they so often say, transcends many boundaries, but despite this, no band can ever claim to have what could be considered universal appeal. Apparently, the band Toto is an exception to this, because collectively the group has appeared on so many albums that literally almost the entire population of planet Earth has heard one of their songs. Also, yeah, drinking video. Yay! Fridays are now drinking videos. Maybe if we can afford more beer in the future. Also, I'm drinking Bud Light. Don't yell about it in the comments. It's cheap and I'm on a diet.
So you said that nearly everybody has heard a Toto song.
Yes, and what I'd like to say is because everyone loves Africa, even that song is not that popular. It's actually because Toto is what's known in the music industry as a supergroup, an industry term used to describe a band composed of already established successful musicians who team up together to form an uber super mega band. Kind of like the Megazord.
Megazord activated. Megazord armed and ready.
As much as I hate to say this, let's not talk about Toto for a minute and just discuss the idea of supergroups. I am in love with the idea of huge, massive, super successful musicians putting their ego aside and teaming up with other equally as massive musicians. Just create like this mega group, because that's fucking sick. Have you got like a personal favourite? Because like, I think the most famous one is ABBA.
Yeah.
And then Journey.
Journey are a supergroup?
Yeah, like they were in a bunch of like bands in it and they all think, you know what, fuck it, let's just make Journey. But have you got any like smaller ones that you're still a fan of?
I think McBusted are one.
Do you know what? I can't believe they did it. But basically, Busted and McFly were two like poppy punk bands that were like really popular with like teenage girls and me and Brad when we were teenagers. Not just because there was teenage girls going to their shows. Don't read into that too much. And I think in the 2010s, they went, you know what? Fuck it, we'll just make the same band, because I think a member of each band individually thought they were too big to come back, so they went, fuck it.
Well, McFly was still going, but what it was... Was
it a member of Busted? Was it
Charlie
from Busted?
Charlie didn't want to rejoin Busted.
He was too busy with all that Fight Star money. We have more subscribers than Fight Star.
Charlie Simpson's solo stuff is really good.
The thing is,
you can shit on Charlie, man, but
no,
I'm not going
to.
to. I love
I'm
Charlie.
shitting on his music. He's a good musician. It's just the idea that no one likes Fight Star because he had all these like young teenage girl fans, and then he goes and makes like this really heavy post-hardcore band, and they're all coming to his shows and just crying. Right, but we're getting a bit so like my favourite supergroup is the competing supergroups of Angels and Airwaves and Plus 44.
Oh my god, that shit
So for people who don't know, it's Blink-182 split. I think Tom DeLonge made Angels and Airwaves, and then Mark Hoppus and Travis Barker went and formed Plus 44. And I'm going to be honest, I sided immediately with Plus 44 because Plus 44 had the better drumming, because they had Travis Barker, who's a fucking amazing drummer.
So why is Toto a supergroup? Because I'm pretty sure I don't know any of the people in it.
Yeah, and I'd be surprised if anyone watching this would be able to like name a single member of Toto. And obviously the idea of a supergroup is it's already established, well-known musicians teaming up. And in Toto's case, they're well-known, but in the industry, because prior to forming Toto, they were all very prolific session musicians, which if anyone doesn't know, are the people they call in when they're making albums. It's like, oh, we need a backing track for this, we need a drummer, bring in so-and-so, or we need a guitar lick for the background for this, and with the band like obviously don't want to do it, bring in a session musician. And Toto all did that, and apparently they all just one day met up and went, should we just start our own band? It's like, we already know how to play virtually every kind of music imaginable, and we've already got these massive like series of connections, let's just start a band. And they became Toto.
Where does the name Toto actually come from?
The story I've heard is that when the band first started and they didn't have a name, one member had seen recently The Wizard of Oz and wrote just Toto, just on the CDs they recorded, so he knew which ones were theirs and not like backing tracks for other songs. And it stuck, so they kept it. Also, I think as well, it's Latin for something, which means like all-encompassing or something like total. I guess that is it's the root word of total. And they said we quite like that because we can play every genre of music. So it's got a double meaning, I guess.
So they were all session musicians.
Yeah. Well, not just session musicians, some of the most well-known and in-demand session musicians in the entire music industry. To the point where the list of artists they have collectively worked with is so long, it's not even known to members of the band themselves. Like, because in interviews they said we lost count. Because obviously they didn't meet the people they worked with, they just got called into a studio and said play this. And then it appeared on some like fucking album somewhere where they didn't even get any royalties for it. It's got paid like the day's fee. And you can probably find and put below in that little fact bio like doing just like a list of just like some of the bigger artists they've worked with collectively over the years. So we can get an idea of just like how far-reaching Toto's influence is.
So is this why their music is so well known?
Yes, because even though the band themselves don't even know how many albums collectively and individually they've appeared on working as session musicians, they've conservatively estimated that it's about 5,000.
It's a lot of albums.
There's a lot of albums in it. About 5,000 of them. I can think of a handful of musicians in the industry who are like even close to that prolific. And it's like obviously Michael Jackson and Prince are the two that spring to mind immediately because they reportedly both have vaults full of unreleased music that could let them release a new album every year for 100 years, which is just ridiculous. And then there's Buckethead, who's not as well known as either of those two, but he's just a guitarist who releases an album like every other week.
So back to Toto.
Yes.
The individual members of Toto have
Yes.
accumulatively appeared on over 5,000.
Yeah, that's a conservative estimate from the band themselves based on like, you know, the figures and stuff of what they've worked on over the years. And they've estimated that amounts to about 500 million sales that they've like, you know, can be attributed to their work. And that's not even mentioning like the 40 or so million albums they've sold themselves.
So how does that factor into almost everybody on Earth having listened to the music?
Because if you take all those albums and you like, you know, extrapolate like how many times they've been listened to and by how many people, you get 95% of the world's population has heard an album or a song that Toto had a hand in making, meaning literally almost every single person on planet Earth has heard a song that Toto helped make. Just like, what do you do? Like, how do you top that level of musical dong waving? I think Prince and Michael Jackson maybe can hold a candle to that, but 5,000 fucking albums. You can't even argue with it, because if you take a list of all the famous people they've worked with, I guarantee you that the majority of the world's population will recognise at least one person on there, which means they've probably heard one of their songs, which means they've probably listened to a member of Toto just like slamming the shit out of a guitar or playing some drums.
So I assume because we have figures for this that they've talked about it at some point.
Yeah, but that's like on their own fan page, which is obviously managed by their managers and like, you know, PR team who have like tracked these figures down. The band themselves are quite humble about the fact they're like probably statistically the most prolific well-known band on earth if you like take into account all the shit they've helped make. And in an interview once they waxed poetic about the fact nobody knows who the fuck they are and that they always get written off as a one-hit wonder despite the fact they've been touring consistently for 40 years straight and have helped make some of the most successful albums of all time.
So why aren't the members of Africa or the band itself more well-known?
Members of Toto.
Shit.
That's the thing. This, like, they're known for that one song, and like obviously this fits in well with what that interviewer was talking about. Like, you're written off as a one-hit wonder, and they went, "Well, we've been touring for 40 years straight, and we've got like 12 albums, and we've appeared on 5,000 more." Okay, but why aren't you more well-known? And Steve Lukather, Steve Lukather, I got that right. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Responded simply, we're booked up for the next 2 years straight. So you tell me we're not popular, I'll go play these songs and do these shows. Which I think is like the greatest fucking comeback to that question ever. It's like, oh, you're a one-hit wonder and no one knows who you are. We booked up for 2 years straight. Oh. It's like we plan these things a week in advance. Toto's like, you know, in 2 years, we've got 2 years sorted.
It's like Rick Astley. He often gets touted as a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
But he's constantly got business.
Yeah, and he's always touring, and he's got some bangers that people don't like. Together Forever is a fucking great song. Obviously
Lights Out. I've got to say. That's one of my favourite songs at the moment.
I've got my favourite one-hit wonder who's actually got a better song that no one cares about.
Oh, Fountains of Wayne.
Fountains of...
So
They do not have... Stacey's Mum is the only song they get... Like, no.
They've got a song, right? Have you ever watched Scary Movie?
Yes.
Right at the end, when they do the reveal of Doofy,
Yes.
the song that plays in the background is a Fountains of Wayne song. They've also got a song called Hey Julie, which is in Scrubs.
Oh. I think my favourite example of one-hit... Like, not with a better song, but one-hit wonder has got to be Wheatus and Teenage Dirtbag. Because Weezer, the band, said, yeah, people think we sing that song... And we're really sorry to Wheatus, this really shit band who doesn't get any play anymore, because everyone assumes we sung your most famous song. So they now cover it at their shows and say thanks for the free publicity.
If I said to you the band Elvis, do you know what song they sang?
What did the Fox say?
Yeah, right. But that song
What
is,
does the Fox say?
compared to their other songs, which are all great.
Yeah.
Like Stonehenge is a personal favourite.
Look at Psy.
Yeah, he's
The first billion views on YouTube, and it's like is the song he hates the most, because it's the one he doesn't like.
I learned the dance. It came up so much.
Yeah.
And then
It was a
stopped
thing.
coming up.
It was in YouTube Rewind one year. I've heard they're really popular.
If they ever offered you a chance, would you
Yeah.
be in YouTube Rewind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as they pay for it. I'm not fucking paying for it. My favourite bit is, though, all the people who were in it are now complaining about the fact it was shit. It's like, you were in it. You could have said at any point that you didn't like it, or like, no, not being in it.
Does that include Will Smith?
I don't know. Will Smith doesn't give a fuck, does he? Do you think he watches YouTube? He's in it. He just like records a video and then someone sends him a check.
I don't understand how he wouldn't have noticed that him looking through binoculars and shouting out "That's hot" wouldn't immediately have the piss taken out of it.
Because he doesn't read comments or is aware of internet memes because he's got a life. Then his wife, like Jada Pinkett Smith, she's in like a heavy metal band.
Really?
I'm not making that what she is. She's also Niobe from The Matrix.
Morpheus, glad you could join us.
Niobe.
So, like, can we admit though, like that second film though is the fucking best. It's the moment where like Neo stops the sword with his bare hands, and he has a single paper cut on his finger, and they go, "Oh, if he can bleed, he can be killed."
You see, he's just a man.
We just swung a sword and he stopped it with his fingertip. If he can stop it with his fingertip and it causes a single cut, we cannot kill this man. So the closest anyone ever gets to beating Neo is by dogpiling him.
just hordes of Elrond.
Elves in that universe are broken as fuck. It's like Legolas defies gravity. He defies gravity so much, sometimes it looks like it's really shit CGI making him move.
Oh man, as shit as that Hobbit trilogy actually is, I mean, I do quite like a lot of bits of it.
I would have watched a Legolas three movie, like if they turned it to John Wick. Turn Legolas into John Wick. 'Cause he is, isn't he? He's John Wick because every time he's in a fight, you know he's going to win, and the only question is, how badass is he going to look? Like the with Gimli.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I've killed more people than you. A single arrow, Mooma kill down. It's like, why not? Why the fuck is Legolas not just given the ring? Why give it to the
Put the ring on his arrow and
No,
fire
why
it
give it to the Hobbit, the creature that's this fucking tall and complains all the time? Oh yeah, I've got this mithril armour. I can stop shit. Like, give the mithril to fucking Legolas. You have now got like God in elf form.
There's that bit in The Hobbit, because I was rewatching like the barrel ride, where he stood on the heads of two of the dwarves on the water, and he fires an arrow that goes through the heads of two orcs. His arrow goes through two people's heads.
He gets
and pins them together.
He gets a double kill with an arrow. Holy shit! The one that gets me though is just the slide, because I think that's a practical effect, but it's so stupid. But then you have the moment where like, the berserker that runs at the thing. And he
I was
misses.
just about to mention that.
How does he miss that? We've seen him in the previous film, like doing 360, like arrow no scopes. And then he misses a guy literally holding a big glowing beacon.